of all, let's look at some trends that we can see in the industry today. And the first one that I want to point out is the use of emotion in marketing and communication. Now, a good example to look at, for example, would be the matric vacations that are being advertised at the moment. And the beautiful thing about marketing is that a marketer understands that a matric vacation is not merely a transportation from point A to point B. It's not merely a week's holiday away, possibly at the sea. A matric vacation is so much more than that. It's emotional. It is the step into a new chapter of your life. It's the ending of a huge chapter of your life. It is the connection with friends. It's the connection to a new phase. So there's a lot of emotion involved in that, and that's what makes a matric vacation advert different from a family vacation advert. And that is really one of the very exciting things about marketing and one of the trends that we can see at the moment. Another one, and that's so relevant at the moment, is the trend around corporate social responsibility. And that's where companies take responsibility for the welfare of the society around them. You understand that marketing isn't merely about creating profit or about money and margins. It's really about societal well-being as well, and understanding that. A good example is if you're listening to the radio, and I encourage you to do that, and there's a big radio station at the moment who are actually telling people to turn down their radio. And that's because they want people to listen to the sounds of domestic violence and report that and get involved. And that's a great example of corporate social responsibility, when a radio station tells you to turn down your radio so that you can hear and listen to the well-being of society. That's not a profit-making thing. That is a societal well-being thing. And that's really a very big part of marketing. Two trends that I'm very excited about and that we could talk about forever. But I also want to have a look at the opportunities that are available for marketing communication graduates nowadays. See, the great thing about marketing is that every good product, every good service needs to be communicated before it can be sold. It doesn't matter how great the product is, if no one knows about it, it won't sell. And that's where marketers begin. That's why we get to experience so many great products, so many great services firsthand, and then communicate them to the market. And that's true for small businesses, it's true for big businesses. And we'll have a look at how some companies have internal marketing offices and some people turn to agencies, and there are a lot of careers in that. We'll get into the careers section of our talk in a minute. The Inscape program, the BA Digital Marketing and Communication, fits in so well with that industry because we focus on integrated marketing application with an understanding of design principles using digital technology. So we want to teach you all the marketing details, all the communication details, the theories, the application. We want to make sure that everything has a digital undertone because that's where we're going, that's where industry is going. And then lastly, we want to incorporate the elements of design that set apart one marketer and communicator from another. Our first years at Inscape would start with the basic marketing subjects. So you would be looking at your marketing 1, your communication 1, but you'd also be looking at English, at design impacts. You'd be looking at design thinking, photography, and that's really exciting because we don't just want to teach you the theory of marketing. We want to give you the tools to be able to implement it yourself one day as well. So that's your first year. You then move into your second year, and that's when it gets really exciting with subjects like consumer behavior. You have a look at statistics as well. You continue with marketing 2, communication 2, digital communication, and then of course all your computer application subjects to give it that real digital insight. Because there's more to marketing than just theory. We want to make sure that you are equipped for the practical aspects as well. So we make sure that you have an understanding of Photoshop, of Illustrator, that you can use Excel, and that you understand the underlying statistical part of marketing. A big part of marketing is looking at data, is looking at interpreting trends, is understanding how facts and figures influence the way that we advertise and that we communicate. So that's why you'll see that the entry requirements for marketing for the BA Digital Marketing and Communication degree are a bit different at Inscape. than from our other courses. So you need at least 50% for English, and then you need maths, and if not maths, if you have maths literacy, that's fine, but you do need above 60% for maths literacy. And that'll help you with the statistics, with the consumer behavior, but also with the research component of the digital marketing and communication course. The best part by far of second year is definitely the job shadowing. So we want to introduce you to what it's like working in industry. Job shadowing involves the students finding hosts who do something in the industry that interests them. They shadow those hosts for about 40 hours and really learn from them and report back to campus what they've learned, and that's really exciting. They share their insights with each other, with their lecturer, with their peers, and from there you see very quickly which field you would like to be in or which field might not appeal to you at all. And that then leads quite nicely into third year, where we start getting a bit more of a business feel to our course. We introduce entrepreneurship, where you're looking at how to analyze markets, how to understand market trends. We look at local as well as global perspectives on entrepreneurship, because we want to equip you with the skills you need to start possibly your own marketing and communication consultancy firm one day. What a great career opportunity. You would also look a bit deeper at digital communication platforms, and then of course continue with your marketing 3 studies. It ends off with going into your final project. So your final project is really the culmination of your third year. It's where everything comes together and you are given the opportunity to present a really great third year project. So let's have a look at the work that some of our marketing students have done in the past at Inscape. The first one, this is a graduate from last year. Her name is Lisa, who's also has a very successful job in the industry at the moment. This was a social media marketing campaign that they executed for a gym brand and an activewear brand. So this is really exciting in the sense that as marketers, and especially as digital marketing and communication professionals, we understand that there is more than one channel we talk on. And we are so active on social media, we're so active not just in our personal lives, but also on our online realms. So to understand how social media connects with other channels, we call it multi-channel marketing, is a big part of the digital marketing and communication course. And you'll see you'll work with integrated marketing campaigns, you'll want to get messages out there, you'll want to get brands out there. This is an example of a brief that was done by one of our students. We've touched on it briefly, but we also look in marketing at branding and rebranding. Now, branding is really the personality of a brand. It shouts whether a brand is a sporty brand, a professional brand, a sophisticated brand, and every now and again a brand might feel the need to change that image that they have. And that's when rebranding comes in. That's where we see marketers getting really involved in using different colors, different fonts, and understanding how consumers see a brand and how they would want to be seen instead. So we've got a good example here of rebranding. Now, we spoke about strategizing and we spoke about consumer behavior briefly as one of the subjects that the marketing students work with. And this was an example, again, it's from one of our students called Lisa, about the purchasing journey. And we wanted to see what the decisions are that consumers make when they start a purchase. And we talk about high involvement and low involvement purchases. And we understand that some purchases are different than others, that the way that we buy, the involvement that comes in, the marketing that we need, the hand-holding that we need, the communication that we're looking for is different between purchases. And that's something that we have a look at from a strategic marketing point of view. In marketing, we also look at a bunch of theories. So we speak about methodology and about target audiences. We speak about branding and SWOT analysis. Now, for anyone who's had business at school, some of these terms might sound familiar. If not, that's okay. We teach them to you from the ground up. But in marketing, and you'll see a good example here, we really want to have a look at the market. We want to have a look at what strengths companies have, what weaknesses they have, what opportunities there are for growth, what threats there are, things that we should consider going into the market. And then we want to have a look at our consumer profile as well. What is the consumer like that we want to target? Are they young? Are they old? Are they modern? Are they traditional? What values are they conscious of? How do they spend their money? Those are all things that as marketers we look to understand. And then going a bit deeper into strategic marketing, we want to look at operational execution. What would be the best way to approach a campaign? How much money can we spend on it? What points are we looking at touching? What values in our consumers' lives do we want to touch on? What emotions do we want our adverts to incite? What do we want our brand to look like? So you'll see in marketing, we look at different problems, how to solve those problems. We look at opportunities in the market, and it's amazing how the market changes and how the market is so influenced by the environment that we find ourselves in. So I'm sure that you would agree that with the lockdown, marketing has taken on a completely different approach to what we've seen in the past. And that's really interesting, and that's something that I want to encourage you guys to keep your eyes on.